earlier this year. We thought it was going to be like a short EP that released with the first single, Then Christ Came, and the more we kept working on the album, it ended up becoming a full-length album. And in May, one of the ideas that I had for this album was I wanted to remake an old hymn for a couple of reasons. One is because, man, I got 5 kids and they're not super familiar with the old hymns, and I feel like we're leaving a lot of meat on the bone when we don't revisit these and pass these on. And so it was important to me that my kids would learn some of these songs. Secondly, I write all the lyrics for our songs, and it's something, quite honestly, I don't really enjoy doing, because it usually means that I end up going to like a painful place to write something that's somewhat meaningful to me. I love the end result. It's very therapeutic, but I don't enjoy going there to begin with. And I call it cave writing. It's like I have to go off into this cave and write something and come back and not come out until I'm finished. And so yeah, I drag my feet a lot when it's time to start writing lyrics. It takes forever sometimes. And so the other reason I wanted to redo an old hymn was because the lyrics are already written. So that's like a huge win, right? And so in May, I had this idea, and there were a couple of songs that would fit the melody and stuff that I had in my head perfectly. One was either I Surrender All or Nothing But the Blood of Jesus. And so I chose to go with Nothing But the Blood of Jesus. And for whatever reason, in May when we were recording this, I was very adamant that this song be the most beautiful thing that we can possibly record. It'll be the last song on the new album. And I just really couldn't, I kept trying to get it across. This has to be just gorgeous, the best that we have. I wanted to treat it with kid gloves. It was just became very precious to me, and I couldn't quite explain why. Well, that was May. In July, my mother passed away. So it's been a tough summer, to say the least. And it's probably the one time in my life where I was praying that it would happen that night, because she was struggling so much. And I had the pleasure of being with her in Texas for about a month before she passed away, and spending time with her. And yeah, it was tough. And I remember right after she passed away, a few days later, I posted something on social media about her dying. And people mean well, but we don't really know what to say. And I made the mistake of reading comments. And somebody wrote, well, at least you'll get a good song out of it. Yeah, they meant well. So, but it was a weird thing to say, right? I think that's like the best case to prove that maybe we should keep our mouths shut and keep making casseroles. Lots and lots of casseroles. It didn't bother me too much. I mean, I kept thinking like, gosh, I hope they're not here tonight, by the way. That would be awkward. But I was like, man, that's not how it works. But I remember thinking like right after, it's like, well, I'm not gonna write a song now, is what it felt like. And so we kind of got through those few weeks of just a tough time. And in August, we finally kind of got back to work on the record, and we were listening to the final mixes of these songs. And this is where we'd sit in our cabin and listen to the mixes, and then if we're good with it, we'd give it the approval and send it on to the record label. And so we're sitting there and we're listening to Nothing But the Blood of Jesus. And I'm sitting here listening on these big speakers, and it sounds so gorgeous. And about that time, I get a text from my brother who lives in Texas, and he's 5 years older than me, and he was going through my mom's stuff. And about 15, 20 years ago, my wife sent this book to my mom and my in-laws, her parents. And it was a book to kind of capture these memories. Like each page would be like, what was your first date like? And they would just fill it out. It's really fascinating. And my brother found the book and sent me a picture of it, and he had written in a question of his own that said like, which is your favorite son, right? And she was like, if this is Stephen, then it's Stephen. If it's Bart, then it's Bart. Whoever's reading it is a perfect answer. And I noticed above that there was a question that said, what's your favorite song? And she said, well, if it's Bart, it's I Can Only Imagine. And then she said, if it's not Bart, it's Nothing But the Blood of Jesus. And so I'm reading this and sobbing as I'm hearing this song in its completion. And man, it just kind of worked itself out. And like I said, I couldn't explain why I was so adamant that it be the most beautiful thing that we created in May. but now I know why.
Amen.
So this is nothing but the blood of Jesus.